the substance abuse problem. Well, that was number 2. And the last thing for a man is that she cheats. As long as she's cheating with him, he don't mind. But he'd be cheating on him.
That's another show.
I know.
That's a deal breaker right there. But hey, you know, we're about to go to our station identification breaks. You're listening to the Let's Stay Together show with my host, my girl, Brenda McKay. I'm up there getting a deal breaker myself. We'll be right back after these station identification breaks.
This is D. Curtis Randall with the Gospel Countdown Rewind, taking a look back at this week's Gospel Top 10.
Number 10.
I'm not the same. Ever since I met the Savior, see my life has changed. I must admit, back in the day, I did some crazy things.
Number 9.
Bless me, Lord, bless me. Even me, Lord, bless me.
Number 8.
Do you mind if I testify and tell you of the goodness of my Lord?
Number 7.
This means war. This means war.
Number 6.
I will do anything.
Number 5.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. The one and only God. You are God.
Number 4.
Can you help us sing this tonight? Say you're amazing. Shout you're amazing.
Number 3.
Trust in the name of the Lord.
Number 2. Number 1.
Join Lady T, Art the Baptist, Robert Reno, and myself as we play the best in gospel music on the D. Curtis Randall Show, Saturdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Central on urbanbroadcastmedia.com.
Now here is the Let's Stay Together show with Reverend Ricardo McCain and author Brenda McCain, helping you to rebuild your relationships with God.
Hey, welcome back to the Let's Stay Together show. Hey, baby, let's talk a little bit about 750. We're going to have this new thing that's happening that people may need to know about. What is that we're doing at 750?
Oh, we have some great preaching coming your way from New Faith International Baptist Church with Pastor Felder. That topic, that sermon, you're going to get a little snippet. Is going to be talking about taking your relationship to the extreme again, part 2. So stay with us because it's going to run about, 5 minutes or so?
About 8 minutes. And the reason why we're doing this is letting the people know, because somebody said they didn't know that we are actually on the show anymore. This is a religious show. Our thing is to know our glory. You've got to know our backstory. And so we want to be able to have a backstory that focuses on Jesus. And so we're having, Dr. Felder to come on from New Faith Baptist Church International to give a sermon about it. And this is going to be tying into the relationships as well. So please make sure you listen. I think that there's somebody out there that if they listen to this part, they're going to, not only will they be saved, but it'll help them in their relationship in their lives. Danae, you said something about you had some information about men and how they feel about, deal breakers. What you got over there?
I did. Earlier today, I decided to do some research. And for that gentleman who, as well as the other gentleman listening here, this is not a one-sided show here. We know that the boat floats both ways there. So there was 3 that stood out amongst men. One is the woman being overly independent, women who can't turn the quote-unquote boss off. 2.
Yeah, Lord. Can I just say that? Hey, Jesus, thank you.
And
I'm sorry.
I agree with that because when I was on air a couple years ago, one of the topics that I wanted to touch on is, have women become too independent to a fault where I don't need a man for nothing because, of course, we need our man. So that's number 1.
Amen.
Number 2, a woman that's not flexible. And 3, a woman that does not take care of herself physically.
Okay, I'm going to get in some trouble with this, but I got to say it. This is just, I'm taking off the minister hat. Women are flexible.
I do, and you know
Wait a minute, I didn't
it's
know
not
that.
what you say, it's how you say it.
I didn't know that women were. I mean, you know, because I mean, the two women I got in here are never flexible with me. Tracy and
Well, no more.
I was gonna say Brenda,
Tracy and Brenda. It's like I didn't.
cut out for
I mean, men, help me out here. I didn't know this. I'm clueless. They're flexible. Danae, thank you very much for helping me out.
We still love Danae.
Help me
Get her
out
outta
there.
here.
You know you coming back because you teaching me something, girl. You teaching me
Stop
something.
teaching Reverend
Women
McCain.
are flexible.
I had him
I
just
know.
the way I wanted him.
Now she coming here for half an hour.
You know.
Right. She messed up
Look, I didn't even
21
go get here
years.
for a half an hour.
No, girl,
Like,
you all right by me. As long as it starts off with Reverend McCain, you coming back. I didn't know that. Flexible women. Oh my
It's
God!
a two-way
Thank
street,
you,
but
Jesus.
definitely more so women, because I think we get so stuck in our ways, because as we're growing up, we hear from most of our adult women in our lives that this man got to be 5'10" and he got to make this amount. He got to blah, blah. I mean, very specific things, and it gets so deeply ingrained a lot of the time subconsciously that it's not until you become an adulthood and hopefully you take that time to self-assess and like, you know what, that's not true for me, and I need to be flexible, because I can tell you, and kudos to my husband for hanging in there and being patient with me, but it wasn't recently until I got that on how flexible you need to be and accommodating, and that's a two-way street.
Yeah, that's true. It is a two-way street. And,
You hear that two-way
Of
street,
course,
babe?
I'm joking around. Men can be just as stubborn and difficult to deal with, and sometimes more than women and their ways, and especially how they're raised to think that they're supposed to be the head
Caveman.
and they're supposed to be in charge. But charge doesn't mean over someone. That means with someone
Come
as
on
well.
now,
So
preach.
you got to be with that individual. If that's your helpmate, she has to have something to help.
Come on. I like that.
You
Woo.
said a word.
Go on and give
That's
a kiss.
it.
So yeah, go ahead, baby. See, I clean it up. I play around, but I'll clean it up. I got to go home.
Yeah, you do. Is it the responsibility of the individual, since we're not going to make this a one-sided thing, to let the person they just started dating know their deal breakers ahead of time?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to come out eventually anyway. You can come, like you can send your representative, but eventually who you are is going to show through. And so it's much more hurtful. Causes much more drama if you wait. If you tell someone up front who you really are, what the things are that you may not want to share, it's going to hurt a whole lot less if they reject you at that point than it does 6 months from then, when you've really invested your time and your heart and your energy in it. So it's just important to be honest up front. Nobody can read your mind, so let people know it is what it is, and let's get to know each other, who we really are, instead of who I want you to think I am.
And women, we do pretend a lot. Okay, Danae, go ahead.
It looked like you're going back some.
Yeah, she has that little flashback.
Yeah, then she had that look.
It showed on my face, didn't it?
All on your face, all up in here.
Yeah.
I
Not
told
with
you
you,
about,
baby.
I
Not
told you
with
about that
you.
face, but that's okay.
That's all
Not
right. I'm
with
the
you.
same way. My mother used to tell me it's written all on your face there.
I mean, you took me there, Talayah. I'm like, wasted all
She got that little
time.
faraway look in her
I
eye.
did, didn't I?
She did.
Oh, that was the pain medicine for my arm.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Danae.
I too agree with Talayah. In addition to that, though, what I'll say is, now if you're going out on a first date,
Right.
don't hit each other over the head. Well, deal breaker, and you better be this, you better be that. You know, it's again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it there. And by no means am I saying, wait, several months in there. But things are time and place appropriate. Relax, get to know each other there. And then as you're getting, early on now still, but if you're getting more comfortable, because you have to be able to trust each other with some of these vulnerabilities to allow to have certain honest conversations there. So, but don't be a dinner first date hitting each other over the head with these deal breakers, and y'all not even giving yourselves a chance.
And and that's absolutely true that a lot of times people don't sit there and give each other a chance to fill each other out. And I think a lot of times it's because of fear. I've been down this road before. I don't want to necessarily go through this again. So I'm going to let this person know up front how I feel. Well, you don't need to do that. You're putting the cards out there already, like telling this person it's going to be this or nothing. and you may want to get to know that person, because sometimes deal breakers can be temporary for the person that you're with. It could have been for one person, but not necessarily with another person. And so you can't bring those things in and say, if Jeff was that person, I was going to have the deal breaker. I'm going to have that same deal breaker with Rick, because you may not even have to go there, or that situation may not even come up. But you've got to understand that deal breakers change from person to person in some cases. So when you bring it right up, that person's like, whoa, wait a minute. We just having,
Exactly.
We having chicken and waffles right now. What is all this about?
That's what I was about to
say. You don't even know where the relationship is going. Yeah. So at an appropriate time, you want to be transparent. But yeah, you got to first find out, is this somebody I even like? Do they like me? You get through a few.
But see, that made me
behavior.
Think, but that made me think about a couple of my friends from before, that from a male perspective. You on a first date, like Danae said, just chill out, go on a date. And with some women, which I call it disparity, they planning the wedding. Oh, I could be married to him. And then they toss that out. Well, how long you want to date before you think about getting married? I could see a man saying, "That's it,
check,
for me."
Please.
Right? Exactly. You don't even get dessert,
They done tuned you out the rest of the time. So if they nice enough to sit there with you for the remainder of the evening, you done been so tuned out. It's ridiculous. They done.
And, I'm gonna take it a totally different way here for a second, because it may be a little crazy, but I really think that if a person comes to you that way, you may need to take the time sometimes to find out why they're doing that. They may not necessarily be the person that you want to break off with just yet. But before you just say, oh, they're saying this is the deal breaker, find out why they're saying this. What happened in a past relationship, because it might have been that woman was hurt before, or she may have been hurt 2 or 3 times, and she doesn't want to be hurt again. And she's an absolutely wonderful person, a beautiful person, would make a great person to be in a relationship and be married to, but because that thing came at you just like that, you're just ready to walk away from it. But you need to look at the person's inner beauty as well as what they're saying, because sometimes they've been hurt so much that fence comes up right away, and they want to just let you know, I ain't dealing with this. And you're like, okay, fine, but let's work with this before you just, get rid of me, or me get rid of you that fast. Go ahead.
Right. And I just thought about a workshop. I used to do a relationship workshop, and one of the sections we talk about red flags. What are the things that, red, yellow, or green flags? And one of the things I threw out to women was, what if somebody had 3 bankruptcies or bankruptcy in their past? And it could be a red flag for somebody, could be yellow, but you might want to think about the reasons where you say, oh, he was bankrupt, I can't date him. Well, maybe he was taking care of an ailing parent. Maybe he went into debt because he was sacrificing himself to do something like that noble. So, or was it just that he's just wasteful and doesn't know how to manage his money? So it makes a difference.
Right, it does.
So like you said, if you dig beneath and find the reason why something happened, then maybe it wouldn't be such a deal breaker.
So you want to add on that today?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing there, but also as far as really just being open. Being really open, stop coming in. I think one of the deal breakers that people should have in their deal breakers is saying that he or she has to be this, this, and this. Because, of course, it even talks about in the Bible how things are packaged there. God gives us blessings in many different forms, and just because it doesn't show up the way you think it's supposed to show up, be open, and then you could see perhaps that it's God trying to bless you with things that you don't even know that you need.
Yes.
Baby, some good ways on the way you guys spun that around.
Yeah.
Because I'm still stuck on the first day. You never ask a man what's his time frame for getting married.
Oh, she's got that.
Well, I mean, and you know what? And that's true, because I talked about that once before I met this beautiful young lady that I'm with, now. For 21 years.
23 total, get it
right.
And
she's only 25.
Yeah, ain't that something?
And I would be 27 on Thursday.
I was rocking that cradle. I'm telling you, before the cradle rocked, I was there. But
you really was.
But, I think, once before I was, dating a person, and we just went over to the house for it was Thanksgiving, the holiday. And as we are walking away, she's talking about, for Christmas, we're going to do this, and New Year's, we're going to do this. And I need you to go here with me and my daughter on Saturday. I mean, we wasn't even on a date. We just met each other from high school again, and she wanted to get together. So we got together each other. She planned and everything. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. We just went over to your parents. I'm like,
See,
my
there's
God.
a red flag.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
just ran
that
into
was
her,
a-
and
that
she
was a
invited you
fire
over for
flag.
Thanksgiving.
Fire flag.
But she invited you over for Thanksgiving as soon as you met. You hadn't even been on a date. That
Right.
was-
Yeah,
And
she
you know
was-
when
she
you're
was
invited
already
around
moving.
the holidays and stuff.
Yeah, she was on warp
Yeah,
speed.
but I'm like, hey, can a brother at least just have some, some
Just
stuffing?
trying to get
You
a
know,
She's not
bag.
even trying to get to know you.
Right.
She's all about
Right.
her own agenda at
Yeah.
that point because you could have
She
been Joe
plucked
Blow
you,
and she would have been
exactly.
doing the
Right.
same thing.
She
And so
plucked you right into that
and so
little opening.
Basically, what you're
Right.
saying is that you don't want that person to just sit there and automatically start planning. You don't even know the man. And ladies, stop doing that. I don't care how fine he looks.
Let's reverse that. Before you, because it was a life before you.
Uh-oh.
Brother
DR.
did that on me. Had me an agenda for the